Good
Good to be
morning,
here.
Fernando.
It is cold around here. It is not a beautiful day, let's say. It is quite cold and humid. Maybe will start to rain, but it's getting better. At least we didn't had like the flood that we had last year. It uh, our river is completely full, but everything is it's okay in the moment. And it is not so cold as what happened last winter from Jill. I can remember the pictures that you shared. That was quite cold. But it is a Brazilian cold, really.
What is a Brazilian cold? What is it? What does it mean,
La-
Brazilian cold?
Last night was 0 degrees Celsius,
Oh.
right?
Mm.
And some cities around here got like -10, -15.
Ooh. What?
So, no, yes, it was quite cold, and we do not have like structure to it.
Yes.
Just like
Is
you
it
said in Israel.
yeah. Is it usual like this to that the temperature drops under zero in 10 or 15 degrees? It's usual or not?
No, no, uh, not so. Let's say it was historically the coldest night since they have register. Let's say
Yeah.
in some cities, not in all. But of course, sometimes we have uh, some codes that we can see the snow running down, and this time this didn't happen, but it is
Mm.
quite cold.
So we're wishing you really calm days and warm days and
Yes, no, but it is fine. It's
good
getting
to
better.
hear. Good
And
to
in the
hear.
coldest night, I could play with Felipe, and it was quite warm. Let's say it was quite, yes, it was quite good and warm.
Yes, we notice that when you play, at least here in the winter, when we hold the guitar, you don't feel the
Yes,
cold. There's something in playing and singing that it unites binds everything together, and you don't feel the separation. So you don't feel cold when you play or sing. So
sometimes you do not feel pain as well. You
yes,
are
yes, yeah,
you are playing a heavy instrument, and, and during while you are playing, everything is fine, but moments after, everything stops. You can feel your back, and you feel some pain. So, or your fingers, like it is quite interesting to notice this.
yes. The thought, the thinking is separating
Yes.
everything. So when we sing, it's a different like movement. It's like one sing or play or dance, and when there's thinking coming on, it's just everything is like you cut a forest. Yeah? Everything is separated and everything is painful. This is how it is.
And and I think that it is like this. Yesterday we had our meeting about the parashat, about the red cow, Paraduma, and all these happenings in this beautiful portion. And quite, it is a portion that is quite, uh, I would say, deep, and and it has its weight in symbolism. It is so rich in many things because we have this Paraduma, the red cow. We have the episode of the death of Aaron and Miriam. We have the episode of Moses drinking the water from the rock. The episode of the snakes in the desert. So it is so rich in symbolism, and it was
Is
quite
there
good.
something? Thank you. Is there something that caught you, like caught your attention in this weekly portion?
Oh, many episodes, right? Like, but if I may raise a question, what do you
Sure.
think that is this impurity in touching a dead body? You know, I'm not talking here literally, of course. I'm talking it metaphorically. And
It's duality, it's to touch duality. To touch the dead is to touch duality. This is it. This is what it means impure. In terms of like a concept or like a symbolism, is to touch duality. Yes, finite. This is what it means.
and the medicine is the red cow and its ashes. So
Yes,
I can remember about the kids high, this this matrix of symbolism.
yes.
But how could you connect it with non-duality, the red cow?
The red cow, the ash of the red cow,
Yes,
the ash, the is just they speak just an example about it's from this is a story from another culture. They speak about a rope, yes, and at the beginning it looks like a rope, but after the fire has moved through the rope, it's just a line of ashes. Yes, in the beginning there's a rope, but when the fire goes through the lengths of the road, it becomes ashes. It's still on the ground, but it's not a rope. It's just ashes in a form of a rope. So this is just a demonstration of the finite. The ash of the cow is also has to do with the moon. Yes, with the body, with the human body. Human body is appearing and disappearing like the moon. So human body might appear might appear here few decades and then disappear. So from the act of symbolism, it doesn't matter if it's like few decades or maybe 100 and something years. It's the same cycle of the moon appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. Would you like to tell us what is the story of the red cow to those who are not familiar?
well, um, the red cow or the red heifer, right?
Yes, yes,
Parado uma. No.
yes,
Uh, it is like a figure that it is described in the Torah as a way of purification ritual. It is the book of Numbers, right?
yes.
So it needs to be like a red cow without any let's say any sign, any that never had work or one
Mm.
and so forth. And if I can remember well, the when Gadol must take the red cow to outside the temple and to ritually slaughter and burn it and to mix with water, and these ashes is used to purify. So everybody that was needed to be purified because had contact with that bodies receive this purification from these ashes. And it is quite interesting. Once I listened to a guy speaking about the red cow, and he said that in that time when someone, so he put it literally, of course, I think, in that time when someone got a red cow, it was like winning a lottery, because it was priceless, and the individual that had this red heifer uh, became would become rich and so on and so forth. So it is a quite rich legend from the Torah. And I can remember what Isaac Luria speaks also at that he speaks about the five uh, ways of judgment,
Finite.
right?
Yes, yes, yes,
And the red cow means the finite, yes, the extreme development, let's say, in Weinreb words. It is the
yes,
kids, right?
yes,
280.
yes. True, true. Yes, this is the end, the extreme. Yes. There's also a beautiful midrash that a lord that says that before Joseph was sold by his brothers, night before, he was sitting with his father Jacob, and they were discussing the topic of Red Heifer and or the yes Egla Arufa. They call it in Hebrew Egla Arufa, and years has passed. He was sold. His life in Egypt went through a certain direction, and when he needed uh, to meet his father again after many years, he sent him a signal. Yes, he sent his father a signal by sending him wagons. The word for wagon in Hebrew is agala, agala. It has the same letters of egla. Egla is a heifer, like little baby cow. And by sending him this message or this like a caravan of wagons to the Jacob and his household could descend to Egypt, he understood that Joseph is alive because Joseph was communicating to him the last, let's say, their last conversations together before he was sold. So was like intimate communication between them because only Joseph and Jacob knew what was told the last night together, because the rest of the brothers, good evening Yanis and good morning Cindy, the rest of the brothers, as Thomas Mann says, no one was interested, not in laws, not in wisdom, not in counting, not in mathematics, not in astronomy, not in art. Very simple. But Joseph was sitting every night with Jacob, and they were discussing the last night together the topic of Red Heifer or Egla Aufa. And this is interesting because how could they? This is a question that everyone asks. How could they discuss this topic? Because the Torah was not yet written by Moses. That will come if you look at the Torah as historical story. So how could they discuss this topic because before the Torah was written? And they answer also that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were discussing those topics already or before the Torah was written because those topics were occupying them. So this is the story about the red heifer. Egla Arufa, Egla Arufa. Yes. By sending this signal to Jacob, he already signaled his father. This is what the Lord says, that He signifies for Father that have nothing to do, that they should not take the blame of what happened to him, that he was sold and so. This was like intimate message between Joseph and his father Jacob, the red heifer. Did you understand the message or not yet? They were having very certain communication between them, very, very high level of communication. Did you understand the message between Jacob and Joseph or not yet? Concerning the red heifer, did you or did you not? You can also say that you did not, and I can repeat because this is a lore and this is a very interesting
If you could
idea.
expand a little
That
bit, I'm thinking about it.
yes, I'll try to bring the verse on which the lore is leaning on. 1 second. קחו לכם עגלות, עגלות לטפכם, קחו לכם. This is from Genesis. Maybe someone can locate this verse in English, please. This is Genesis 45:19. Again, Genesis 45:19. ואתה צוות, זאת עשו, קחו לכם מארץ מצרים, עגלות לטפכם ולנשכם, ונשאתם את אביכם ובאתם. Can anyone locate and bring it here to the chat box? Genesis 45:19. Let's try to find it. Genesis 45:19. Thank you. Thank you, Fernando. Yes, wagons. Yes, this is what Joseph says to the brother, that they will send. Now they're in Egypt. The conversation is happening in this verse in Egypt, and he says, sends wagons. Yes, out from Egypt. Yes, to bring your father, meaning Jacob, yes, and his household. He just sent them like means of communications, the wagons. In English, we say wagon. What is a wagon in English? What does it mean, wagon? Describe what a wagon is.
It's like a car or
It's like
you know, a way of
a car.
transportation.
Yes, a vehicle, a car. Yes, like instrument from wood or from metal with wheels. People can sit. You can put goods inside. Yes, you can move faster or more material on it or more luggage. Yes, the word, and this is how the midrash is working in Hebrew. The word for wagon, like kinderwagen, agala, agala from igul, from something which is round. Agala. This is wagon. Yes, I will write it in English letters. A ga la. Yeah, agala. This is wagon. Yes. The same letters in a different pronunciation is heifer, egla, egla. Let's write it. Ein. The English here doesn't change. Here, egla. This is heifer. Egla. Egla. This is heifer, baby cow. The same letters. The Lord says that Joseph said this verse. In English, we translate agalot, agalot as wagons, as a means of communication, transportation, vehicle. But the Lord says that the letters of agala, singular, wagon, is the same letters as Egla. Egla, this is little baby cow or heifer. And Joseph said this sentence to communicate to his father of their last conversation together one night before he was sold to be a slave. Do you understand the relation between the letters? Agala, agala, this is wagon in English. It's a mean of transportation. The same letters in a different pronunciation is egla. It means heifer or baby cow. So by saying to the brothers, send wagons to bring your father, he was communicating beyond the wagon as a vehicle. He was communicating him the topic that they were discussing together as friends, if you want, one night before he was sold to be a slave. And this communication, says the Lord, was a message to the father that he forgives him, that he has nothing to do, yes, with selling him as a slave to the Midianites. Yes, because it was Jacob's idea to send him from Hebron to Shechem to ask the peace of his brothers. All the brothers were busy with the herds next to Shechem. There's a good pasture there. There's a good meadows, green meadows, and they were there. And Joseph was never a shepherd. So Jacob sent Joseph from Hebron to ask the peace of his brothers, which were already hating him. So inside of himself, he took a lot of responsibility of his death because he thought that he had died. He accepted the evidence of Judah. So for many years, he accused himself in the death of Joseph. Of course, Joseph did not die, but Jacob took it upon himself as responsible for his death. And by Joseph, many, many years later, saying this verse, take your wagons, he was communicating to his father that he is not angry about him, that he does not take him as responsible for what has happened during those years. He was communicating to him the last topic that they were discussing together to show that there was never disconnection. They continued the same conversation like those 20 and something years never passed between them. Is it understood?
Amazing, yes, amazing. And it is quite beautiful because you were saying that this red heifer is the correction for duality, right? The dead body is
Yes,
duality and the red
yes,
heifer. And I was
yes,
looking at this verse, and it is, if you take the two words, it's Mitzrayim, Eglot, and Mitzrayim represents also duality.
yes, yes, yes,
So to take out, to go out from Egypt is to leave duality. It's quite beautiful, like just like what you said about this lore of the rope, you know. It came to me. It is like all the struggle that you passed through and that we had. It came to ashes. It doesn't exist.
yes. This is why Ramana Maharshi says, what is he saying? The presupposing of not existing thing. What is the thing? The body. So there's a presupposing of a non existing thing. The body does not exist, it doesn't have the power of existence. It's being animated from the source. But once the source leaves the body, what is left is burned rope. So people give a lot of power and a lot of significance to people like walking on the street, saying, exhibiting, appearing in videos, in movies. They make God out of them, putting them in posters. But this is a presupposing why all this worship is happening, or cult, because there's a presupposing of not existing thing. People usually, when there's appearance of a body or any kind of phenomenon, the eyes, yes, are the first one to notice this. And there is believing to what the eyes can see and take it as an absolute truth. But the body or any phenomenon that appears in time and space is being animated from the source. Once it stops being animated, it is just dead body, yes, or a burned rope, using the Indian lore. Yesterday I just came, yes, from I left the bus, I came from the bay, and there's like piazza. Piazza is a circle. Yes, sometimes there's junction on the road, sometimes there's piazza, like a round round center with flowers. And next to it there was like a dead body of a kitten. Yeah. Maybe one of the cars just drove without noticing, and the dead body of a cat was there. So there is a presupposing, let's say, when the cat is alive, hanging around, moving, looking at birds, we assume the eyes, assuming from this movement of the cat, from its vitality, that it exists. It has its own power to exist, but it's not. Once animation stops from the source, it just drops dead. So what is animated gets a lot of respect. And once it's not animated, people look for a way to evacuate it, to get rid of the dead body of a cat or a parakeet. I remember once we were in the park and a crow, just with his beak, maybe a bird came from, it was a parakeet. He was, I don't know how, he was like flying in the neighborhood. And a crow found this parakeet, and with his beak, the crow just, we say, put a hole in the chest of the parakeet. It made a hole, like in the area of the lungs, and the parakeet just fell tuck, like vertical into the ground, without breath. So once there's it stopped, the animation stops. There's just, you see like the body of a parakeet, beautiful feathers, but it's dead. It's not animated anymore. Reach its finite. So like now it doesn't matter what is the cause of death, but it reached its finite. It was a crow that made a hole in the chest of the parakeet, or a car just hit the baby kitten, or people just perish in, let's say, good age. It doesn't matter. It appears and disappears. So there's a lot of attachment to humans. Yes, Felipe.
Hi, Eti.
Hi, how do you do?
I'm fine, Eti. Happy to be here and happy to hear. Hello, friends, Fernando, all the friends, Yanis, Cindy, and friend. Eti, it's interesting just to share. You mentioned this finite, the end of movement of manifestation, and as you already mentioned, this this calf. It represents the Sufit letters, right? The, the, the letters on Hebrew that end the words after it. They have the word comes to an end. It like it is dividing the being, and I mean, yesterday we were in this conversation, and an image came about it. One friend said, if every word um, has to end at some point, in the because if it hasn't an ending letter, it would continue forever. So the words has to end to become to have a meaning, and this final letter is represented by the red cow, and it's beautiful because when you um, make this ritual of the red cow, you are finishing this, you are ending the end. I don't know if I make myself clear, but you are uh, there is no more ending, you know.
Yes,
You everything just will flow on and on. There is no stop.
that's true. That's true. So this is a beautiful. Thank you, Felipe, for this. This is a beautiful. Yes, yes. This is why we learn it is hard for us to see the end of a parakeet or a kitten or human lives appears and disappears, but there's a great learning by looking at the moon. Yes? There's only darkness, and then comes a bit of the moon comes like a hair, even not even like a banana or something. Just the moon appears and disappears. Life appear and disappear. Yes? But the appearance of life and disappearance, let's say, of the body, is not what life is. Do we understand the relation between appearing, disappearing, and life? Many times people, let's say, end a certain period working in one place, and they feel so much, let's say, some they're happy to leave and to continue to another place, or they live in a certain neighborhood and they move on. For some people, they experience death. Something in them is ending. They stop going to this office, or they stop coming to this home in this neighborhood or in this country, and it feels finite for them. So they feel something is ending. Yes, because it stops to be seen as routine. But life does not end when the routine stops or the repetition stops. Questions? This is why there's a relation between those letters, finite letters, Mansepar. Their value is like 280. Yes, like the cycle of the moon. The cycle of the moon is 4 weeks or 28 days. It's the same. Yes. Yes. Like Parashadu. Yes. Yeah, Paraduma, of course. Yes. 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 There's appearance and disappearance. Any appearance is finite. Is this clear? What appears also will disappear. Yes, there's only emptiness or space or a background in which the appearance, yes, will appear in. Just this beautiful example about the school. There was a school here. Time passed. People moved on. There were not enough children to attend the school. The municipality decided to break the walls of the school, to destroy it, to disassemble the school. So one day came tractors and they just removed the walls. It took them a few days. And after a few weeks, you just could walk next by and notice there's only trees there. Yes, eucalyptus trees moving in the wind, and there's only space. So the walls of the school, or what used to be the school, used to appear in the space. The wall is just appearance in the space. Once you remove the wall, there's only space. Many people are renovating their homes or their houses, and they want to have more light or more air, so they break the wall or remove the wall. Yes? And you remove the wall, and there's only space. Is this clear? The wall appears in the space. The chair appears in the space. You remove the chair, there's only space. The table, the desk, they appear in the space. You remove the desk. You remove the table, there's only space. In the same manner, people's life. There's a body of a baby appearing in space. It grows, life is moving through this body-mind. At some point, there's a relief. The body stays. Yes. Life continues. There is appearance of a body in time and space. Or in space, there is appearance. Like the moon appears and disappears. So it's like cycle, it's like cyclical. There's appearance and disappearance, appearance and disappearance. Yes, nothing is gone. Questions?
Eti,
Yes.
is there any relation between the red cow, Adoma, and Esav, I was thinking about what would be the conversation, the discussion Joseph and Jacob would have had in that moment, and I remembered about Esav, and the struggle with him and everything, and just related with the red dome and
Yes.
the red cow is do you know what they were discussing, or if there is a relation with Esav?
There is a beautiful lore that I can text later. And they were speaking about this topic. The lore speaks about it very shortly, but definitely there is a relation to Esau, because Esau comes with a 400 men. Is the extreme development. Of course, there is a relation. What happens when development reaches the bare end of it? Of course, there is a relation, of course. There is a relation also between red, Aduma, and Adama. Adama is earth or land. When everything reaches fullness in times and space, it just disappears. Where does it disappear? Into the Adama. Back again. Yes? What happens when somebody dies? What people are doing with the body when someone dies? What is usually happens to the body?
Decompose, right? Starts
Yes.
decompose.
Yes. So there's a need to bury it, or in some culture they send it in fire, but there's a need to make, let's call it, to make the body disappear, because it's a life hazard. It just, yes, it's dangerous to keep it because it's not been animated. Yes, every moment that someone is breathing, doesn't matter if it's a cat or human, there's a creation in the breathing. While breathing, there's a new creation all the time. We are not historical figures, that's for sure. So every moment there's a breath, there's a renewal of everything, the breath, the cells, everything. Yes? And new creation, it comes and it's fresh. But once there's a stop of breathing and the body's just drop dead, you have to take care of it, because it decomposes, it smells, it's dangerous to the health of the others, to the surrounding. So people have to bury it, or to burn it. Why there is a need to what? What happens in burial or in crematory? What happens in those, let's say, those ways? The body
Performance.
disappears. Yes,
Yes.
yes, Fernando?
May I share one
Yes,
coincidence?
yes,
Uh,
sure, sure.
just this weekend, Alessandra invited me to watch a movie that I don't know why she selected, but she saw, I think, that was about Orthodox Jew, and maybe I would be interested. So we watched a movie called To Dust. Dust is the name, and the history. It's not a great movie, I would say, but it brings something to meditate on. And the history is about an Orthodox Jew that loses his wife, and he's quite concerned about what happens to the body. So he tried to find a scientist or somebody that knows something beyond what it is in the Zohar or in the Torah. So he goes, he starts his journey to understand what happens to the body when it starts to decompose. So this is the story, and it brings many, of course, uh, It's not just that I said it is not so profound movie or something, but it brings many ideas about what we think about what happens after that, you know.
Mhm.
All that we bring in our culture and what we bring from our family and so on and so forth. And so it is interesting just because you are what you are speaking about right now. So what happens to the body? The body, go to dust.
Yeah.
The mystery is what happens to the soul or to the life.
Hmm.
And we have all kinds of speculations about it, right? It is a mystery to me. To me, it's a mystery. But we have all kinds of speculation about what happens after this moment, right?
Yes. Why is it? It's a mystery. Mystery is something which is we don't see. Olam. Olam is a world. Ne'elam disappears. So, as we said before, there aren't two, like the man and the world. The man or the human is the world. And once life is moving from the man, also a world is disappearing with it. It's not just the body. Yes, the body goes to burial or to crematory. It has to disappear. Otherwise, it's dangerous. But it's not about the body because a body will find rest. Question rises, like Fernando says, what about the world? Where this it's not just a person disappears, there's no name to call, nobody will answer. What happens to this world? Yes, this is the question. Olam, world, ne'elam, disappears. So when life ceases to exist, let's say when someone, yes, let's call it cease to exist or perish, the world is disappearing. Do we understand this?
Not sure it. What do you mean about the world cease to exist?
We tend to explain this. I have to go to before. Yes, we tend to see that there's, let's say, a man, let's say, a figure is moving in the street. Or we tend to look in general that there's a me and the world. There's a man walking in the street, and there's a world, trees and sun and sea. This is how this is the information that the eyes are giving us of two. Yes, me and the world. There's a man walking there. So we don't tend, and we don't have a tendency for the truth. The truth is that the world is a man. There is no world outside of man. Do we understand it? And when this man perishes, a world, yes, is disappearing with his disappearance. True? Do we understand this or not? Let's say, yes,
Please
Fernando.
continue it. I'm not sure that. Not sure that.
Let's say, if now we shall see all of us a movie that was produced and filmed in the 50s, yes, of the last century, there's a certain, let's say, people used to drive certain cars, yes, they used to listen to certain music, let's say the Shadows and whatever, yes, and they used to dress in a certain way. They used to carry themselves in a certain way. Yes, if you see not a movie that imitates the 50s, but if you see footage or film that was filmed in the 50s, let's say in America, people will have a certain way of dressing, of speaking, certain way the cars look, the streets, the gardens, the surrounding. Yes? So those people, they lived in the 50s. Was their life. But if you move on in time, yes, part of them might be gone. They cease to exist. So this world does not exist because they are the world.
I understand.
Yes. We can ask who experiences the world. What is the world? The world is not, in a way, the universe. We can ask who experienced the world? Who experienced life now?
Consciousness.
The sun and the moon continues, yes, but let's say someone is perishing, he or she will not experience the sunrise and the sunset, right? Or who experience sunrise and the sunset?
Consciousness, maybe.
The one, yeah, yes, Fernando?
Consciousness, I would say. Human consciousness.
The one who exists in time and space experience sunrise and sunset. What is a world? A world is not outside of men. The world is the world that exists. The world and the men are one, or human are one. This is why the word for young man and young lady in Hebrew is elem, elem, ve'alma, maiden. Yes, elem, alma, alma from olam, meaning they have the potential in them as young, let's say, teenagers. They have the potential of life in them, but the potential is still hidden. This is why elem, alma, alum, it is still hidden. When they live, let's say, in space and time, everything will be revealed. The world will be revealed in them. Life will be revealed in them. Usually, little children, they play with a flower. He loves me, he loves me not. You know, they used to, yes, yes, Fernando. There's a game that the children play with flowers, you know, when they take the petals, he loves me not. They try to figure at the age of 8 or 10, because children understand there's a life around and people get married and have children and houses, so they try to, in their mind, to perceive what is happening. So there's an interest in a child. There's a vague picture maybe that one day he or she will get married and have a house. This is a world. Who experience life? Who experience sunrise, sunset, rain, snow, storm, music, dancing, good mood, bad mood, experience burn, cake, ice cream, dream, all of those things. It doesn't matter who experienced this. Yes, but the place of when all of this is happening is the world is human. Yes? You could say that there is a coconut taste without someone tasting the taste of coconut? Why do we describe, for example, why do we describe tastes? Why? Let's say certain people, they like to drink certain coffee or they have preferences for ice cream flavor. But who can even speak about it? Who can have a preference of ice cream? Who? Could we say that there is a world? This is, you can open mic and speak freely. There's no right answer. Who experienced the taste of the banana? Who experienced the taste of the banana or the coconut? Who? Who experienced the sunrise? No, it doesn't matter where we are. Yes, dear.
Okay, so since there's no right or wrong answer, I'm
There
gonna
isn't.
I'm gonna say that I experience, the part of me that, you know, who made the appearance here experiences that because
Yes,
outside of that, then there's nothing to experience.
yes, yes. Yes, there's only emptiness. Yes, yes. Yes, the me. Yes, Fernando. Yes. 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 So, yes, Fernando, would you like to say something? Jill, would you like to expand on that? Yes, Fernando.
Please
Feel
continue,
free.
Eti, after you.
So, we appear in space and time, and the part that appears in space and time can taste, have some taste, can notice different colors, can hear. The brain will attach those contacts and say, this is I, Jill, that feel and so. But this is happening to 8 billion people. Yes? Which are appearing here in this moment. So the place and the place which, or the space, like the school, the space in which 8 billion people appearing is the world. When a baby is born, it's not just a baby. A world is being born. A world in which this baby could hear, could see later, yes, could touch, could smell. Yes, a world is coming with the baby. The baby is not an object. Again, do we understand that? The baby is not an object. The puppy is not an object. The kitten is not an object. It's a world.
Could I just share something?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Um, so when I had the aneurysm ruptured last year, then something happened like immediately afterwards, which was really strange. It's kind of hard to explain. But when everything kind of went sideways, then I actually had was looking at just a solid wall. But it seemed like it was just this big world, and it was just like I was moving away from it. And so, had I probably not made it through that event or whatever, then I figured that, eventually it would have just, disappeared. I would have just gone away from it. So I think about that sometime. Um, as, I don't know if it would be like leaving the world or what it was, but it was just a strange experience.
You felt like can you felt it like you are removing or getting far, like you are like helicopter being like
Yeah.
horizontally. What can you explain?
Yeah, it was just it was in a location where, I've been back several times, and it's just a blank wall. But when I was sitting there, then I just seen like just this round world. I couldn't tell that it was a globe or whatever. It was just like it was blue and it was white, and there was brightness coming from somewhere, but I was moving away from it. I was going back away from it. And so I wasn't getting closer to it. I was
Yeah,
leaving it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, it was I don't know how long it lasted for. It must not have lasted that long. But I do remember that I seen that, and I do know that the wall was completely blank, but it was like a moving away from the world that I've always, been taught that that's what the world looks like.
Yes, 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 yes. It happened to me once. I was reading a text. The text was opening of Elijah, and it was Saturday night, and there was a sense of that everything is from concrete, and then there's like elevation, so to speak, of this concrete reality. And well, it was a relief. Everything becomes foggy. What we consider as matter became foggy, and there was a sense of elevation. And then there was someone in the room. He says, "Please come back. Please come back." And the moment those words were told, I felt, boom, that I'm bumped into billions of tons of matter, and there was like this was was it. We have no clue of how the body, as a body, which all the cells and what happens inside, how heavy it is. And I told Andre this when the ballistics came, yes, from Iran, because somewhere, not all of them were intercepted. Not all of them were taken in the air, and some landed very, very close here. And the tons of TNT, I don't know what tons of explosive were in every missile. And they landed quite close. And it was like we experienced last year, a few months ago with the Lebanon. It was different kinds of rockets. So this was ballistic, so the tons of TNT, I don't know what it is. And one of them really leaned here close and was like, there's a shock because the body is like the cat is like biological matter. It doesn't matter human or cat. It's like biological system. And there was like, and no words can describe this shock. But I told Andre the same moment, we could not feel this blast if the body was not that block as the explosive. Do you understand? Do you understand? I hope that you will never meet a bomb in your life, or a missile, or a rocket, or whatever it is, ballistics. Never. I hope. But you could not feel something which is not similar to. And we see and we experience life, so to speak, through the vehicle called body. There is a word for atom bomb, or atom is like this. We write in Hebrew atom, yes. And it's in Hebrew, it means also atom, blocked, like concrete, yes? Atom, this is like nuclear also, but it also means like block as concrete. The body is such an armor that blocks, in a way, the ability to say the truth. Because we give so much importance to the walking, to all of these the happenings and moving, and we relate the movement and to saying to a personal human being, which is not. There's such a lie that comes with this. We call it in Greek persona. Persona, it means basically a mask. The body is a mask. And once this mask is being removed, like the rope is being burned, there's nothing. Like in the beginning, there's nothing, and in the end, there's nothing. Therefore, there is nothing to be sorry about. Not about moving a job, moving a neighborhood, immigrating to another country, changes in the weather, in the temperature, in family structure. All of those things are just appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing. This is what it is. And there's all of those changes, seasons, neighborhoods, moving, they're not real, because if they come and they leave, they cannot be real. Questions? Fernando, Felipe?
Beautiful, Eti, and it brings a lot of questions, but I know that we passed our time, so I just wish to thank you. And
Thank you.
it was deep, so I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here with us. And we wish you a very good weekend. And to America, there's a holiday tomorrow, 4th of July. We wish you good weather and good conditions wherever you are, and stay tuned. And we can exchange your messages on Discord. See you here on Saturday. Thank you so much for being here with us. Toda. Shalom, and see you soon.